Take us out. Oh, well.
Nephilim.
When they are consuming your minds and your thoughts and your dreams, from the angels to the demons and to the mysteries unseen, there is no need to worry. There is no need for dread. It's just time to discuss the thing at the foot of the bed.
Good evening. And if you're just tuning in, you're either listening to or watching United Public Radio Network, otherwise known as UFO Paranormal Radio Network, or just UPRN on 105.3 and 107.7 out of New Orleans, Louisiana. And you are listening to and watching The Thing at the Foot of the Bed. I am one of your co-hosts. I'm going to introduce my amazing co-host in just a second. We've got Zach Man here and Sandra Sharp already. Welcome. Zach, I hope you're enjoying your birthday week. It was Zach's birthday on Monday, and he spent it with me because I'm also a host of my own show on the network, The Angel Rock. We had so much fun. It was a long weekend Monday, and we all just hung out with me. I didn't have a guest. Not that guests aren't fun. But anyways. Where am I going with this now? We are on Roku tonight. UPRN does have a channel on Roku. If you want to find that, you can go to the channel store if you've logged into your Roku account. You are then going to go to, like I said, the channel store, look up UFO space P as in paranormal. You're going to get a list coming up. We're about the third or fourth down, and you're looking for UFO space paranormal and United Public Radio. If you want to join in the comments and be part of the show while we're live, you can head over to UFO Paranormal Radio, either Facebook, or you can go to our YouTube channel. We've also discovered recently that you can see it on my co-host David's YouTube channel and mine. So we'll put a little note in the chat. Hi, Sandra, Michelle Pratt from Australia. And I don't think I forgot anything. Oh, I guess I should tell you who I am, right? I'm one of the co-hosts, like I said, Lorilei Potvin. I'm a Canadian clairvoyant medium, crystal Reiki energy healer, Akashic Records practitioner, spiritual teacher and mentor, and registered nurse. You're going to find out why I'm a little discombobulated. Dave and I have been playing around with a few things. We've got to do something different tonight. But here's David.
Hi, everybody. I'm sorry. Let me see. I am just sending my. There we go.
I was hoping I talked long enough for you because I forgot to remind you.
Yo, I'm sorry. I was just while she was talking, I was quick posting this to Facebook. I think I posted it not to my Facebook group, but actual Facebook. I'm not sure.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
I remind you, and I forgot when we talked. I went, oh crap! I forgot to tell Dave. Oh, he probably remembered.
I remembered at the last minute, and I forgot where. I don't even know where in the heck that I just posted everything. You'll find me. My name is David Hanzel. I'm a spiritual medium. Hi, Zachman. Hi, Michelle Pratt. Hi, Sandra Sharp, who I know can't be here for the entire show, but thank you for coming up for the little bit of the show. You can find me. I have another podcast called Mystic Stew, which is a short form pre-recorded podcast. You can find me on pretty much any social media, which I'll tell you about later. I'm a spiritual medium, channel investigator, paranormal investigator, just all around interested in everything metaphysical, paranormal, and everything else. So that's how that goes.
You're really loud, Michelle says, and I'm quiet. I don't know what we could do about that. I can yell. Do you want me to yell?
I'm just a big mouth today. You know what it is? I figured out how to turn my mic up now.
Oh, is that what you did? Well, I'll see if I can turn mine up. I think it's up at 100%.
Thank you. Yeah, I don't know where I posted it to. I just grabbed a couple of them and said, "Here we go."
Oh, did you? Okay. I don't want to play with it because it's not giving me the setting for volume, which it should, and it's not, guys. I'll have to play with it. The reason why it might be played with a little bit with my volume, I can try it on here too. We got settings, is because you guys, we played around with a screen share. Oh, I know who this is. Erica Mears. I have to say it, the Crystal Whore. I'm never going to forget that with you.
Oh.
I am never ever gonna forget that with her. No, she says, "Hey, y'all, David, you posted to the group. She just got the
Yep,
notifications."
I
Andrew
got
Sharp
that.
said.
Yep. Perfect. 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 So today we're going to talk about, well, all kinds of stuff. But
Mhm.
Lorilei and I had watched a few videos. Well, actually, before we talk about what we're going to talk about, we're going to talk about Nephilim today and giants. But while I was doing some research on that, I don't know how where the rabbit hole dragged me down to some religious channel on this stuff, and they were interviewing ex-psychic who was telling them how terrible crystals are and that kids between the ages of 13 and 25 are doing it and it's just terrible. And she's talking and I thought, oh my gosh, the only reason you're an ex-psychic is you're probably not good at it. And
I just saw something like this about don't touch these 3 crystals.
yeah, and I thought that's the
One was
crazy.
quartz. One was
Oh
quartz.
my. And yeah, that's what they were talking about too, amethyst and all this stuff. I'm like, that's like the stone of the angels, you wacko. But anyway, it was. I mean, I'm so I will make fun of that channel because it was ludicrous. It was just absolutely silly. But I laughed and that was it. I had a good chuckle. I listened to it for about 10 minutes before I said I can't take this woman anymore. But
it was on Instagram. This came up in my feed, and I'm going, this was today. I'm going, what the heck?
that's what now see, I heard that today too. So
Oh, wow.
but it was
Well,
on
the same wackadoo.
we both we Lorilei, we both got wackadooed today. We
Mm-hmm.
got wackadooed by the wackies. But anyway, I could see if they were talking about like spells or something.
Yeah.
It was crystals.
Conjuring demons or something with
Oh
crystals.
yeah, they said that demons were she was talking about how crystals invoked demons and all the, and I tell you, I know some exorcists and I have never watched them go into an exorcism with all their rose quartz and put them all over the body and
Yeah, you need some love. That's all you need is love. We'll put pink quartz all around you.
oh no, it's just
I don't want to do it with it.
yeah, that demon just hates the color pink and purple. But it was just silly. But I thought I'd bring that up because you guys listen. I will tell you, I don't care what you believe in. There is nothing evil about a crystal. Absolutely, that is the one thing in spirituality that has the least amount of anything negative in it.
Mind you, if you took a clear quartz, I wonder, because the clear quartz can hold the frequency of any crystal. Now, crystals aren't evil, but there's energy. So if you sent really hateful energy into a certain crystal like a quartz, trying to magnify it, it would probably crack, I would think. But I don't know.
I think it would neutralize it. I would think so. But
There you go. Neutralize, even better.
I
Yeah.
think it would neutralize it. I'm not sure, but that's kind of like
That
tourmaline.
makes sense.
Yeah, black tourmaline will neutralize energy really well. So then
Well,
I've
Zach
got
Man said just because she told me not to touch them, I'm going to touch them. And Erica says crystals equals demons, and I've got my own legion. That's
of the
what she said. Legion of them. LOL. So do we. So do we, Erica.
crystals, Zach, because you don't know what's going to happen. Your hand might turn evil or
That's
something.
what Sandra thought too, because I was thinking that too. I guess if it gets saturated with enough evil, she said it would crack at worst. That's what I would think it would do
I
too.
would think it would get worse, and crystals are crystals hold vibration. I mean, they literally crystals hold energy. So I don't know. Anyway, so we were talking about there's a big thing going on like on TikTok and everything about the Nephilim and people seeing giants and people seeing Nephilim. So that's what we wanted to kind of talk about today. So those of you who don't know what Nephilim is, it's basically here. I'll read a description, but I'll tell you what we know. The Nephilim are mysterious beings or people in the Hebrew Bible who are described as being large and strong. The word Nephilim is loosely translated as giants in many translations of the Hebrew Bible, which is incorrect. So this is kind of incorrect, but left untranslated in others. Okay, they redeem themselves. Some Jewish explanations interpret them as hybrid sons of fallen angels. Now, this was the Wikipedia one, which I'm not big on the whole Wikipedia thing.
I'm not either. Can we stop just for a sec, Dave? Because we're getting people coming from Facebook. We love you. I'm streaming it across the bottom, but I'm highlighting you so you can see you're coming up only as Facebook user. So if you head to streamyard.com/Facebook, it takes 2 seconds. It'll allow you, they just want to ask if they can use your picture and your name, and then we can see who you are. So
Exactly.
I
So,
forgot about that. Oh my gosh. Okay, we have to talk about this quickly. So
okay.
Michelle, who's in Australia. No, she was at my show Monday night. I think let me see. Zach was there, obviously. Robin was there from Haffern. A lot of you guys were. Sandra was there. Okay, so Michelle sent me, we were talking about Bigfoot. I told Dave about all the jokes we were having with Bigfoot tucking in the pictures and whatever else, right? Okay, so Michelle said something towards the end of the show. God, Michelle, I'm gonna have to look that up because with you'll probably type it faster than I'll say it. But she sent us, she sent me something she said, and when you said it, I think was it Nephilim? It was something like that. When she played it backwards, it said Dark Elf. I'm not kidding you. She played it. Hang on. I'll see if I can find it here. She'll probably type what it was. And I'm going, what are you talking about? And she sent it to me and I posted it. Hang on.
Black kids.
Sorry, Black Eyed Kids. That's what it was. Yes. Let me see if I can find it. I don't know if you guys will be able to hear this. Hopefully we won't get any feedback back, but I'm looking for it, Michelle. Hang on. Let me see. Oh, yeah, she's the one that sent me the picture of the drawing you saw. I didn't post it tonight. That was the Kandahar giant, because we talked a bit about giants. Okay, reverse speech. Okay, it's coming up. Okay, so this is it. Now, I'll play the second one because it's easier to hear. I'll make sure this is turned up. Hopefully, we don't get biofeedback here. Black-eyed kids. It sounds like Black Elf when you hear it. She did it twice. The other one isn't quite as clear, the recording, but it sounds almost like Dark Elf. Sorry, Dark Elf. It was really cool. And I said, like, how did you discover this? And she goes, there's lots of things when you play things backwards that you get messages. And I did play the second one. Thanks, Michelle. I did, because the second one was better. Laura's fine. You put Laura, that's great.
I do not know a lot. I'll be honest. I don't know a whole lot about the dark-eyed kids except for the lore around it. Now, the lore around the black-eyed kids, I think, is a little far-fetched, but that doesn't mean that black-eyed kids.
No, that's what we talked about. That's why we, like I said too, how long did we spend on that, guys? Probably like an hour and a half. And I was going to move on to other stuff, and people wanted to talk about it because there's also white-eyed kids too.
Yeah. There's a lot of different ones.
No, but with black-eyed kids, that's what we talked about. Like we talked about, what do you think they are? Because they cannot come in without your permission. And then I told a lot of stories because I did a lot of research for it. I knew quite a bit about them, but I did a lot of research, and we were trying to decide, were they human hybrids? Like, what were they? Were they from another dimension? Did some people thought maybe vampiric? So we never came up with a decision. We just talked about it because I wanted to hear people's thoughts on them.
But if somebody probably went down the rabbit hole, they probably find out more information on it. I mean, I don't know. The lore, I think, is kind of silly because, I mean, I do get that they can't come in the house and all that. I do understand that because actually what's weird, there are some beings who do have a protocol. And so, I mean, I know of others that have a protocol where.
No, but then they'll say about their parents. Like, I really looked into a lot of recent stuff because they seem to have evolved a bit with their speech. And there have been reports of looks like Men in Black showing up, these big SUVs and stuff with windows blacked out. Looks like Men in Black that'll come out eventually picking them up. There was a couple reports of people that actually let them in and what had happened. One woman ran into the store that was a nurse, and she parked right in front. Her 8-year-old was there. She just finished her shift and she ran off because she wanted to pick up some milk and bread on the way home. It was like a quickie mart, kind of thing with gas. And she got in, and this strange kid was like beside her kid, and like there was this big huge back seat. She really made a point of that. And this strange kid, like, it was a strange kid, she didn't know, it didn't really look strange till it looked up, but she had this horrible horror and terror that everybody reports before they even see their eyes. And this kid was like glued to her kid, like practically almost sitting on him. And when the kid finally looked up at her, she yanked her kid out. Anyways, long story short, she called her husband because she was so scared. She said, will you come and drive the vehicle home? I'm afraid. And they were only 2 minutes, well, probably about 10 minutes away from home. So her and her kid took his vehicle. The husband took hers, but he paused for a bit because he kept smelling this horrific smell, like rotten flesh and sulfur and garbage. And some people do report that. Next thing she knows, she's thinking, the woman's going like, where the heck's so-and-so? Like, he should have been home. And she gets a call from the police that he got in an accident. Serious accident, doesn't remember being in the accident. And then the kid got very, very, very sick. And that is what I have heard for anybody that has let them in. He's gotten very, very, very ill.
Yeah, I don't know enough about them to make a call on it. I
never made a call, Dave, because I really don't know.
Yes,
I suspect they're from a different dimension, but where I get hung up on every single report, and I have studied them for quite a while, like quite a few years, because I've done quite a few shows on them on my previous network. And why do they have to ask permission? That's a good point. Like, some entities do have a protocol.
Some do have a protocol.
But why, and what kind of entity are you that you are like, they just insist and get more and more angry, insisting you let them in.
I don't know.
It's weird.
Mm-hmm. They could be like, I'm surprised somebody has caught one yet, or did something, but
people just get absolute terror. There was one report I was telling of a guy that was like this massive prison guard, and he was horrified and terrified when these kids came and it's not when they see the eyes, it's before. Like, we were talking about how people that are sensitive as empaths, such as ourselves, or some of the people in the chat, right? You can feel energy quite easily compared to most people, but these are people that know nothing about energy. Like, you absolutely, beyond a shadow of a doubt, and as soon as these kids are around, every single person has reported this abject, horrific horror and terror and fear, and then they feel like they're compelled, like they don't want to let the kid in, and they're just about, they find their hand, they grab it, like, what was I doing? Like, it is crazy, the stories around this, and it's not just one.
I haven't heard them yet. Maybe I'll have to look into that. I have not. Before the Black-Eyed Children, when you said it, I had heard very little about them, but I guess it's not the spirit du jour that
I think Michelle put in the chat that I knew it was around the mid-90s. The first story was, I think, in 1996. And before that, you didn't really hear stories about them. So where did they come from?
It's funny with all these entities, though. They will come and go. Because I remember for a while, because I grew up in Wisconsin, and we had the railroad beast out there, which is the dog, the wolf man.
You might have to tell people a little bit more about it. I've heard of it, but some people may not have.
The railroad beast is basically people had sightings of werewolves in Wisconsin. I can't remember. No, I can't. It just escapes me what city all of a sudden. But the sheriff, they actually have a silver bullet that they kept at the. I mean, I don't know what they do with it, and it's more lore probably nowadays. People want to go there just to see the silver bullet and do all this stuff. But there's many reportings, but nothing ever bad happened.
We're getting there.
But so Giants making a comeback again. Thank you, Michelle Pratt. I'll get back with that. So yes. So enough about Dogman. We'll talk about that another one. We talked about him before. But the big thing right now, it seems that people are going. they get attached to something and then they beat it to death and then they go on to the next one. But
no, but I don't agree with that. And I'm going to stop you there for a sec because I really did a lot of research. That's what got me. I knew I was doing a show on my own, and we talked about this early in the week.
I'm not talking about the black-eyed kids. I'm talking about.
No, I didn't know I was going to talk about the black-eyed kids. I had no idea what I was going to talk about Monday night. I really, guys, I don't do this normally. I was like literally ready to hit live, and I went, "Holy crap! I never even decided what I was going to talk about." So I said, "Spirit, help me out with this," and that's where we went. So, anyways, I knew we were going to talk about giants and stuff, but you are right that it almost seems like one person notices it, people jump onto it, and then all of a sudden everybody's seeing it. But where a lot of the pictures are coming out of is Mexico. And I couldn't understand this. So I have a friend that lives in Mexico, good close friend, and she's part of the spirituality community. So I asked her and I said, and I sent her all the clips and everything. She goes, "No, we're not hearing anything about this." But what she started to dig into as well, she's noticing a lot of the volcanoes are starting to all of a sudden that have been dormant. I think she said there's 8 that she found a report in Mexico. When she was looking at this, she was looking to see if there was any reports of these giants. We're going to show you some of the clips tonight. Sorry,
yeah, the giants, people are jumping on that bandwagon. Now, they're jumping on the Nephilim bandwagon. I'm going to tell you, honestly, I do believe in giants. I believe there are these large things running around here. What they are, I do not know. But as far as Nephilim go, if somebody doesn't know, Nephilim supposedly are the sons of God, which were the angels.
Fallen angels, yeah.
Fallen angels, thank you. And that's pertinent to the story, the word fallen. Okay, so fallen angels who came here were attracted to the female humans.
They slept with the daughters of men, daughters of men, it was called, but
Daughters of Eve. Yeah, I think. Is it Sons of Adam, Daughters of Eve? Or is that from Lion, Witch, and
No, the Nephilim thing is it's the fallen angels that slept with the daughters of men, meaning being the
human women. But they're nothing too. They say married them, but we don't, if that was true, and they are this race of fallen angels, it was probably against their will.
Did anybody watch Supernatural? Because they kind of did a storyline on this, but it wasn't that the child was a Nephilim. It was half human, half angel, and super, super powerful. It was a really sad story what had happened, what they had done to the child, because I never agreed the way they portrayed angels in that series. I had a real problem with it.
Yeah.
And they apparently took the child out because it was such a threat, because I guess it's way more powerful, half human, half angel. Certainly interesting thought.
So the Nephilim are supposedly, because angels are so big or so tall, or so that's what the Bible says. I got to give you the biblical version. I can't give you the real version right now. The biblical version, angels are very big in the Bible. They're very tall, they're very big, they're giants. They came here, slept with women, had children, and then those children were half human, half angel, but because they were fallen angels,
I highlighted this comment for a reason, because we're going to touch on that, right?
Yeah, we're going to touch on that too. But anyway, these children that they had were not good children. They don't explain why, but I mean, they were really quite evil. They caused problems. They ate all the wildlife, people, destroyed towns, done all these little things. And people are saying that's what's in the mountains. Now, to go on the record, the Nephilim thing, I don't have much of a belief in. But the giant thing I do. Now, I think the reason, to go to the giant part, I think the reason that people are seeing more giants is because the veil is thinning. We talked about that. The veil has been thinning for a very long time. When the veil between the worlds here, the other side, or any other dimension is thinning, there's going to be bleed throughs. And I think maybe that's what a lot of that is bleed throughs. I don't know. I haven't heard anybody say, I spotted a giant and here's the video. Just earlier, it tore down a 7-Eleven and kicked 6 kittens and did something else bad or something. Nobody's ever said that. They just have a sighting. That's why I don't believe in the whole Nephilim thing. I think they're doing that either because they don't know or because it's invoking fear. Because if all we know, these giants that they're getting pictures of are really cool. And
Well, I want to add, though, Erica says, I bet they had some epic intimacy. Well, okay, so yeah, I guess they might have some interesting. I'm not going to say Dave could tell a story if he wants when he messaged me, but what I'm going to say is supposedly angels, whether you're fallen or not, are androgynous, meaning they have no organs to differentiate. They have an energy, whether sometimes identified as male or female, but they have apparently no organs like we do, sex organs, we'll say, and they've never been human. Supposedly, I always say we're not going to know all the answers till we go back home ourselves.
We don't know everything. I've been talking to angels and studying them since I was a wee little child for over 50 something years. But angels are good. There's not a
That's why I had a problem. I don't watch a lot of TV, but I always really enjoyed Supernatural until they got into the angel and demon stuff. And I can remember that Adele and I talking about this and going, this just doesn't feel right, like making angels evil and really humanizing them. But you guys, it'll come up in our conversation tonight, because Dave and I were talking about it today when we were working on these clips we're going to put up here, that, you know, a lot of things get really overly humanized because it's so hard to look at it from any other different perspective when we're in a human body, right? We're going to think like a human.
Exactly. Me and Lorilei totally agree on that one. As far as the spiritual world goes and all these weird stuff that we see, people humanize it way too much. Not everything is a human. You know, human, we're a whole nother species.
Okay, so should we show a few clips here? Because what would you want me to start off with, the one on Nuke's Top 5, or do you want me to start off with?
Oh, wherever you want to start. Lorilai's going to show some clips that we did today.
We'll see how it goes, guys. We're practicing this.
On it.
Okay, hang on. So we're going to go here. Okay, I want to share it, but just give me a sec. I don't want it to start yet. Okay, I'm coming over here because we're going to add it so that, let me get in here. Okay, good. I'm going to add it so we can see it, and then I'll play it. Now, it'll be small at first. This is Nuke's Top 5 from 2 weeks ago on YouTube. I think it's something 10 top 10 scary ghost videos, so scary they can't make you spell correctly or something it says. Oh, that will make you spell badly. Okay, we're going to play it.
Confused and laugh it off, but are baffled by what they just captured. The hunters still have no idea what they filmed to this day.
Sorry, guys, there's an ad on here. Let's see if we can get past. I'm going to have to just play it.
At least it's an ad for a plant-based burger. Awesome.
That's true.
I don't need it.
Let's see if it.
Did you know there is a prize-winning breakthrough that restores perfect vision faster than everything else discovered?
We had it all queued up.
Through the eyes.
Go back a little bit for you guys to see it.
The unidentified figure looks humanoid in shape, but appears to run on all fours like an animal. The guys are confused and laugh it off, but are baffled by what they just captured. The hunters still have no idea what they filmed to this day.
So, guys, let me just stop sharing for a sec. So that is on Nuke's Top 5. I got to remove that there. It's gone. Okay. Plants cry too when chopped. Yes, they do. So that was one of the ones that I have not seen that clearly. You'll see it better. It's on Nuke's Top 5. If you go under the video tab, there's a recent one. It's the one below, and it looks like the words aren't spelled properly. It's the 9th clip in. So there's number 10, and then there's number 9. And when you see this thing, like, these guys were not out hunting anything. What they were hunters, and they were out scoping deer in their area, I guess, looking like where would be a good place to go hunting. They did not plan on catching that thing. But what do you guys think of that? Like that
you know,
thing?
To me, I don't know what it is. I don't. It's not a skinwalker. Everybody always wants to yell skinwalker.
I did pull up some skinwalker stuff, skinwalker, and
that's okay. They can call it whatever they want. But that thing seemed to run like a giraffe, though, did it not? Like, it had really long arms in front, and
it looks human. It looks like it's human running on all. It kind of is running, and then it's going on all four after the deer. But he looks like he's got pants on, and nothing else. I call them capris almost for women that wear, pants in the summer that are 3/4 length up the calf, capris. That's, if you want, I'll play it again and you can see it.
Play it again, because when I saw it, it looked like it was somebody wearing a big white sweatshirt. But I'm not saying he was. I'm just saying as much as I could see it.
I watched it probably about 20 times because I was like, what the heck is this thing? Okay, we want to share this. So hang on, we're going to share it.
Zachman said resembles a silverback gorilla wearing pants. Yes, like a gorilla. It's had a really long arm.
This is like I'm going to go right back to the beginning. You can hear these guys talking in the video. So hang on, we'll add it here. Okay, we've got it here. Hang on, I'll go right back as far as I can. Hang on. I don't want to go. No, we don't want to go back that far. Okay, I don't want to go right to the last. Okay, I think we're at the right spot. Hang on. Don't get me another.
Respond while we're watching them.
All right.
How do you track them?
There's 2 more black dots. Cody, how do you turn this on? Oh, what the crap? Is that a guy? What the frick? What the what was that?
He's walking creepy.
Dude, that was a skinwalker. What?
Follow him.
I videoed it. What the frick?
I'm gonna get my.
That was a skinwalker.
No.
Even in the distance and with the bad video quality, it is obvious that some strange, large, misshapen figure seems to be chasing the deer and running at an inhumanly fast speed. The unidentified figure looks humanoid in shape, but appears to run on all fours like an animal. The guys are confused and laugh it off, but are baffled by what they just captured. The hunters still have no idea what they filmed to this day.
I don't believe
Through the eyes of a child.
Sorry?
I don't believe it's a cryptid, and here's why. It's something else. There's a little things like when I stared at it this time, the front arms don't bend. They're not bending. They're straight. Like if somebody's holding 2 rods. I'm not saying they are. I'm just saying they're not moving. I looked at it 3 times. I was just staring at it. It didn't move. If it is something, one, I don't think it's a skinwalker, but if it is something.
I think it's something giant. I don't think it's a skinwalker either. I think these guys just said this because they were so shocked. Yeah. Going, oh my God, we caught a skinwalker.
I know, that's why I was laughing at it. But it does not look like a person. I looked at it. I mean, I didn't look at it 20 billion times, but I thought
it looks like somebody with no hair.
Yeah, it was
a movie I've seen before. If you even go to Harry Potter, the movie, when the troll came in the bathroom, that's what that reminds me of. The way it first starts running, and then it's kind of like bent over, but it's got no hair.
The only thing that bothers me in the video is the front arms are rigid.
All I'm going to tell you is those guys did not plan this. That's why I like Nuke's Top 5.
Yeah.
And in their videos, he is a skeptic, and he will tell you, is it all an elaborate hoax?
Did you notice something in the very beginning of that video before you saw that thing running? Did you see the 2 things running in the field?
Those were deer.
So that was the 2, but they were on the other side of the tree.
Yeah, they were deer. That's why they were there. They caught this by accident. I just can't get it to go right back to where I want it to. He calls this deer. And so he explains that these 2 hunters are out somewhere in the U.S. I think he's somewhere in the Midwest. He probably mentions where it is. And they are filming deer. So when they start at the front, all you see are the deer. The deer are on the opposite side of the tree, and they're filming them. I don't know if they're scoping them to see where's a good hunting ground or what. They weren't looking for this thing. They were looking for the deer. And then all of a sudden, this thing comes booting into the frame, and they're like, what the heck?
It was that the only thing is they said it was chasing deer. That's where I don't. Well, maybe
I'm going to go right back to the beginning. Right back to the beginning. You can watch it.
Maybe I just can't. Maybe I can't see it very good on our screen.
It's hard to see on here. I agree. If you guys can watch it yourself. Okay, we're going to share that. Hang on. I want to go back here because I want to make sure I got to add it to the stream.
I'm going to scare you guys with my face today because I got to look right at the screen.
Well, I'll send you guys. It's on new. I'll send you a link, Dave, but it's on Nuke's Top 5. You guys.
I like Nukes. Nukes is fun to watch.
Okay, this is through. That's number 8. So we got to go back to number 9. If I can get it to go back to number 9. This one's pretty spooky. I don't know. Okay, this might be the beginning of it. Hang on. Let me go back a little bit more. Okay, this is going to go too far. This is into the next first video, and I don't want to get into that one. We're not talking about ghosts tonight. Goops. Okay, there we are. We're right at the beginning. Okay. Can you see it okay, Dave, on the screen?
I can.
Okay, good. Okay, I'm going to play it right now.
A couple of young hunters are out scouting the countryside for deer. They search and film through a camera with a long-range lens, when suddenly the hunter catches something that is just weird.
Respond while we're watching them.
All right.
How do you track them?
There's 2 more black dots. Cody, how do you turn this on? Oh, what the crap? Is that a guy? What the frick? What the What was that?
He's walking creepy.
Dude, that was a skinwalker. What?
Follow him.
I videoed it.
Hey, Howie.
What the frick?
I'm gonna get my.
That was a skinwalker.
No. What?
Even in the distance and with the bad video quality, it is obvious that some strange, large, misshapen figure seems to be chasing the deer and running at an inhumanly fast speed. The unidentified figure looks humanoid in shape, but appears to run on all fours like an animal. The guys are confused and laugh it off, but are baffled by what they just captured. The hunters still have no idea what they filmed to this day. Through the eyes of a child.
I see what you say about the arms, but like I said, David, what it reminds me of is like from Harry Potter, that troll when it was in the bathroom, like the same stiff arms. Hey, Howie, welcome. We're talking about giants. We're just showing a clip off of Nuke's Top 5. Hi, Debbie.
Was that one wasn't, was that, I wish I knew the scale of the trees. That's what I was trying to get. But nonetheless, I will call it a,
I don't know what it is.
Like a UAP, but in people, in an unidentified.
It's just large. They weren't planning on capturing it. They were filming deer. And that, like, you guys hear me all the time on the Angel Rock, and I've mentioned on here, that's why I like Nuke's Top 5. He never tells you what to think. I have seen him debunk things. Like if he gets it sent to him 1,000 times and he knows it's fake. Yes, Howie, please go ahead. He says, may I? Absolutely. Go ahead. So the reason why I like it, like I said, debunking things he will, and then he'll just say where he got it, or what the story is. I have seen him, if it's really hard to see, he will tell you. He'll lighten things up or he'll do whatever, but he will tell you exactly what he's done. And he never tells you what to think. He just shows the video and says, you guys decide.
I wonder if I'm gonna investigate that video just for the fun of it.
I tried today, so let's see what you find. We'll see if we can find more. So Howie says, "May I?" So if you want to share, go ahead. Do you want me to show any more, Dave?
Of that one? Oh, well, that's
no, there's other clips.
So anyway, so the Giants. Talk more about it. So this looks like the costume from an early 80s movie. I've seen this time and time again. Why is it there? Not sure.
But Howie, he wasn't planning. He wasn't looking for this. It's big, large, and you kind of came in towards the end of what we were doing. This wasn't somebody looking for a giant. These guys were out scoping a hunting area. They were filming the deer. And they happened to capture this thing. They didn't know what the heck this thing was. You can hear their voices. But you're entitled to your opinion. Absolutely.
Yeah. I don't know why my iCloud thing is coming up.
Are you getting to renew? That's what I had this week. It kept coming.
It just wanted me to put in my it just wanted me to put in my
I know. It always does.
At first, when I saw that video it reminded me of, if you guys seen the original Dark Crystal movie, have you ever remember the Dark Crystal?
Yes, I watched the series too. I loved it.
That thing ran like the Land Rover things. You know, those land guys that they got on their backs? Oh, they'll take us there. What were they called? I can't remember what they were called.
Can't remember.
Yeah, but that's what it reminded. They looked like they had tiny little wings on their backs.
I'm looking for the giant here.
You know what I'm talking about, Howie? See, Howie knows what I'm talking about. It's the same gait and everything. It's the same gait and everything. I forget what they're called in the movie, but that thing ran like it. And that's why that was, and I'm not saying those are things from the movie, but the backstory to the video, what Lorilei is saying is the backstory to the video is these people were literally just filming deer. And
that's the backstory.
Yeah. So
he will tell you if he can't find out where it came from, Dave, or anything, he will tell you, I cannot find out where this came from. But he even talks to a lot of people that send the videos in. If it's very compelling or there's a lot of questions, he will review it again and say, and give you what they've said. So these guys weren't looking for that. That's what I can't see somebody running around in the woods in a massive, that huge, in a costume, and they captured them on film.
I'm trying to think of what cryptid I know of that runs like that, and I don't have one in my head. But as far as a giant goes, that's a cool creature. If that's a creature, I wouldn't classify it as a giant, though. I guess would you? Well, it's hard to say because we don't know how tall
the size of those deer. If you saw the deer look like little tiny dots, and he's still pretty tall.
The deer were in the back field.
Yeah, but you could still see them. They run through the clearing.
I'm not
trying to convince anybody. I'm not going to argue with you guys. You guys are entitled to your opinion.
Not the Chamberlain. Oh, like the Skeksis? No, I don't mean the Skeksis. I mean the Land Rovers. The Chamberlain was a Skeksy.
Do we want to see another one? Because there's quite a few getting caught in Mexico.
Yeah, let's see those. Because I believe there's been a lot of stuff going on in Mexico too, even with UFOs and everything. I mean, that's
what I told you. Yeah, UFOs, volcanoes, all kinds of stuff. Because I talked to my friend that's in Mexico, her and her husband, and I asked her, "Have you been hearing? Okay, giant. Is this the one I want? Hang on, I gotta make sure I get the right. I got a whole bunch of things open here. I had one of this guy that was in Japan from the late 1800s. This guy is massive. I think I still have him up here. I'm trying to find it. But let me see. Giant caught walking on the mountain. I don't know if it's that one. Yeah. This is one in Mexico.
When I was doing research today, there was a theory which I thought was quite hilarious. When I told you earlier, when they were some people were trying to say that the Nephilim were also Bigfoot. Nowhere that Nephilim are described as a big hairy man. They were described as regular looking people.
Okay. No, I don't think giants are Bigfoot. That I can tell you. I think I turned the volume down on this. Right, I got to move it down a bit because you guys won't see the top of the mountain. Let me just I turned the sound down because it was loud. It's always potato quality video. Wait, let's see if I can move it up a bit because you can see he tried to blow it up. I'm not convinced that's even a human. I mean, like a humanoid-like figure because it's not. Well, now it's standing up. I don't know.
Standing up. Before it looked like it was throwing up.
Yeah.
These humans make me puke.
Yes.
But okay, wait, just for a minute. Does it not look like it's floating above the mountain, or is that just because I can't see it?
Yeah, it kind of does. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Now, what's he doing with his arms? Like that's what I think.
Okay, that looks like a giant doing the Macarena now. That's not.
I know.
Okay, but
it's almost done. I think it's almost done. Let me see. Yeah, it's almost done.
Landstrider. Thank you, Howie. Landstrider. That's what they're called.
Oh, Landstriders, right. Okay, got you.
They'll take us. What are those?
Almost done. Okay, there we go. Okay, so let me come back here. Sorry, you guys. But I agree with you, Laura. Yeah, it's an interesting conversation. Like we did today, we tried out Dave's new iPad, and then we had the time. So I said, Dave, let's hang out here for a little bit. We had the time. I said, let's practice screen sharing because I hated what I had to do on Monday was hold my phone up because I wasn't sure if this version of my browser would work with StreamYard, but it does. So at least we can see this stuff.
Okay, Cloud Walker. Yes, they're just.
Okay,
like I told Lorilei earlier, I think or like I said to you guys too, I think because the veil's thinning, who knows what that could be.
Oh, that's interesting, Michelle. That was an interesting perspective.
That's what I mean. If that's just a bleed through, because if if anybody, like, hey, Lorilei, I'm sure Lorilei, when you've seen apparitions, normally if I see an apparition, okay, we're talking if I see a ghost, or usually when I do readings and they stand right next to me, they're never on the floor. They're always a little bit up off the floor. The reasoning is that I believe, because I had an NDE, of course, and the light that everybody goes into does not go straight up. It's on a 45-degree angle. That's because the dimension that people refer to as heaven is actually imprinted right where we are. It's just about 3 feet higher than the earth. So I wonder, I mean, I don't know how accurate that is, but I will say that the dimension is higher than the earth is. So they always appear to be floating. That's why ghosts always appear to be floating when they might be walking on their hard surface, and we're seeing it as that. So maybe that thing, like Michelle says, I think that's a really good point, Michelle.
Yeah, like that's why I was showing these. Like, I'm not trying to hang on to that news top 5. Like, it is a giant. No, I don't know if it is. That's why I'm showing you guys. The only thing I was stressing was I really do believe these guys. Like, they could be great actors. They could have. The thing is, usually people that make these videos aren't the ones that submit. It's usually other people that find it online that'll submit it, which gives it a little bit more credibility to me as well. And they weren't looking for this. Like, if he said, hey, we're out hunting giants today, we're looking for one, and then you find one on your camp. Yeah, like, dude, really? Yeah, like, I believe it.
I do think it's very important for all people who look at videos to have a bit of discernment, because we have discernment when we do readings, what we can say, what we can't say, what actually might be, what we need to, you have to take in spirituality. The one thing you have to do, you can have a conviction that says that you just don't believe in that. That's fine. But you have to have an open mind and listen to everybody first.
I have a video I almost put up here, by the way, and I had seen it earlier, and I kept hearing Spirit say, no, this isn't real. This isn't real. So it's a clip, and it looks like it's in a bunch of cliffs, okay? And it's close up, and all you see is this giant, looks like rock door in the mountain, close. And people are running over going, oh, and then this fake reporter comes on and he starts going, well, isn't that just amazing? In an Irish accent, he goes, I think we've caught sight of the giant. And he's going on. And as he goes on, he goes, well, folks, that just proves that the real Finn McCool is still prevalent and around in the Isles of Ireland or something. And it was like, oh my God, if anybody believed that, like, it was so fake. It was fake.
Yeah. Oh, Pop Leah's on here because Lorilei and I were just talking about that earlier today, because you have to be careful, because people, listen, the next age of kids literally grew up with computers at age 2. So by the time they're
my kids are 25 and 28 and they did. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but like what Howie says too, we still have to keep our minds open, but it is difficult nowadays. I guess if you are like a really honed in spiritual person, like if that's what you do like 24 hours a day, it messes with your mind as well, because sometimes you want to go, okay, I know better, but Spirit is telling me this and I'm hearing this and this and that. So it's a bit difficult, but all in all,
I have a few more. Like,
let's play some more, you guys. Let's do comment on cool video things and see what we come up with.
Why not? And if you guys got something to say, like Howie said this, and I think this is important. He goes, "That's why I love discussions." Yeah, because it was the same reason why we had so much fun Monday night on the Angel Rock. Because I didn't tell people what to think. I just told them what I'd found, what I had heard about, what I had seen, what I'd found in the research. But I still can make my mind up. I want to hear what people have to say.
Yeah, discussion is the best way to go around stuff. That's how we learn things, and we can discuss it. And there's a guy on TikTok, what's his name, Macklin, whatever. He like takes he's a theologist or a theologian, and he's amazing. I love his stuff. He goes through the Bible and debunks it and does this, and he always talks about people how we have to come to terms with different texts of the Bible. I mean, what a large amount of people believe to be true is going to become truth. And like in the United States, what the politicians do, if they say something over and over and over and over enough, we think it's true. Well, some people do. But it's like Howie said, and like what me and Lorilei do, we have a discussion about it. And the discussion, we don't say, you're right, I'm wrong, you're right. We say, let's look at this further.
I think it was Leah, and I like Michelle, I think said Cloudwalker, and Leah happened to mention one of them. I'm sorry if I got you mixed up, but about could it be a hologram? Yeah, like it could be all these things. So let's talk about it.
It could be anything.
What fits and what doesn't. You know what? I think I might have not kept the guy up there. I wanted you guys, you got to see this guy. He's from Japan. And I understand, considering my ex-husband and my in-laws and my uncle, my aunt was married to a Japanese man. They tend to, on average, be shorter, smaller people. My ex-husband was only half Japanese, but he was a big man. But I digress. But this, it is a giant. I'm sorry. It reminded me, again, I'm going to go back to Harry Potter, Hagrid, how big Hagrid was supposed to be in that movie. This man is so huge, and I thought I had saved it on here, but it might come up. But this, okay, now this isn't really a giant.
You showed it to me. I think I saw it. I think
like he was huge, like he was massive. Now this isn't necessarily I think this is the one that is in Vietnam. Let me check. I wish I could have labeled them better, but I couldn't. But okay, we'll do this one. Okay. Yeah, this is in Vietnam. Now, this isn't necessarily a giant, okay? But you guys take a look at this. Like, why would this be here is what I'm going to ask you. So let me hang on. I got to find it. How many more am I? Okay, I think it's like a giant. Is that it? Let me see. Yeah, okay. So share. Hang on, I gotta come back over here. All this clicking. Sorry, guys, I gotta wait for it to load. Okay, we'll add it.
Yeah.
I think I put the volume down. Okay, let's see. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I did. If not, I can put it down.
Okay, video number 3.
I'll take it's got a song, so I don't want to play it. This is found in Vietnam. Now, why? This is like all wrapped around, looks like concrete around a bridge. Why is that there? Like, I want to know, when was it built? Why is it there? Do you need to see it again?
Yeah, I didn't catch it.
Okay, so this was found on Google Maps, I guess, in Vietnam. It's got that yo hum hum ho hum song playing in the background, so it's really loud, so I just muted it. Okay, watch now. He's gonna go, looks like to a bridge or something. Okay, this is it looks like is it a train trestle or a bridge? But look at. No, those aren't real. I'm not claiming they're real, but why?
Oh, it's a hand holding up a bridge.
A massive hand, but is it really a hand, or what was it based on? I told you it wasn't a giant, but
yeah, it looked like a statue holding up like somebody did. Did you ever see that in that same area there's an amusement park? Well, it's not an amusement park. They have a ride. It's 2 giant Chinese statues, and they both have like a carousel on them, and they lift up in the air, and the carousels meet like that. So things that can be built that big. I've never heard of that, though. That's the whole thing. I've never heard of
it. I thought was cool.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to put this one, I think. Or maybe I'll do this one. This one was, they're saying Bigfoot, Sasquatch. Oh, this is one in Mexico. This is the other one in Mexico. So you guys got to check this out, man. Giants, another one in Mexico. Now, I found a version that was colored, and I thought, no, don't color it. This looks like it was shot originally in black and white, and it looks better. So hang on, I'm gonna add it. Okay, now we'll play it. Hopefully you guys can see this. I'll go back a bit if I can. Never want. Oh no, I don't want to heart it. I want to go back. Stop. Let me go back.
You just loved your video.
I didn't need to. I tried to go back. Okay.
You loved your video.
I didn't mean to.
It better be good now.
Well, watch this thing. I want to hear what you're going to say, because I know what I'm going to say. What do you think, Dave? What do you guys think?
I can't really see anything, but it reminds me of two bears.
It does look more humanoid as I'm watching it on the big screen. I know it's pretty small, but it looks pretty fake to me. It looks fake.
It's hard. It's really hard for me to see that. But it looked like, where was that in China? Because it looked like a panda bear.
Mexico again. Like all these people are catching stuff in Mexico. Okay, if you guys get a chance, you won't even have to go on TikTok, I don't think, but look for clips of giants caught in Mexico. If you got TikTok, it's easier to find, but I believe there's clips in other places. But when you get to see it right in front of your face, I know it's not ideal to show it on here. Okay, you can't see what you were supposed to look at. Okay,
it's hard to see, Zach, but it's that black mass.
Okay, yeah, it's in the side of a cliff in Mexico. There is a hole, and the camera shows it. They really blew it up. But you can see what looks like a human coming out, looks like it's male, and then it turns around, it goes back in, it comes back out a little bit. Like, it kind of looks fakish to me, but then they really pan out. Like, I don't even know how they would have known.
I didn't even see that. Okay, maybe I just can't see.
Want me to play it again?
Say it again. Play it, Sam. Play it again.
Oh, good. It's right here. Okay, I think this is it. Give me a second.
Look, oh, it's a little closer than you guys wanted to be.
We're having fun with this tonight, aren't we, guys, with the screen sharing?
Why she's queuing that up, and we were talking about the Nephilim before. I believe that the reason people are saying Nephilim so much is because the whole Euphrates River drying up, which is bull. That is not true at all. Because the angels locked under the river. And it says,
I have heard it's true. I watched a documentary.
No, it's absolutely untrue. It's been debunked already.
Well, what I was going to finish, just let me finish, that this had nothing to do with biblical lore or anything like this. This has to do with damming in the countries before and afterwards, and they're fighting about water. That's what I was trying to say. So it is starting to dry up.
Right. So it didn't dry up, but it did get small, I think, last year, but now it's right back again. But what Lorilei said is actually very pertinent to what I was trying to put. It was something that simple, but everybody ran after it differently. Now let's look at this video, because that looks interesting. I'm going to look at what you said.
Okay, so look right in the center with the black hole. Okay, you can see he looks like he's wearing a loincloth.
Now I see it.
Okay, so right in the middle, he looks like he's wearing a loincloth. If you guys can see this on your own camera, you'll see what I'm talking about. So he's peering out of the hole. Because I know you can see it really well on the screen. Here, not so well. So now they're panning out. I don't even know how we saw it in the first place. But this is what we're looking at, this hole. And he comes out. He's got his hands on his knees, and he's kind of peering out, looking around like this. He's got no shirt on. He looks like he's wearing like an animal fur over his private parts. He goes back in, and then he kind of pops out a little bit. So
I can kind of see that now. Now I can kind of see that. I was confused before. But did they say, is that like a big cave, or do they not know?
It's in the mountains. They seem to be capturing.
Does it say, do they know, like, because I guess we won't be able to tell like how tall the opening is or how wide the opening is, because that would give
like it's not tall enough for him to stand up straight. I will tell you that, because he's bent over, but my thing is, if you're that far away, all the way back like that, how did you know to look there? But like I said, this isn't the first sighting. There was one in Canada. There's quite legend and lore about that. I didn't upload it. It's pretty easy to find. I have not been able to, because apparently this guy is no longer alive. No, is he? Isn't he? I have heard all different kinds of stories. I get people saying it was debunked, but I have seen all the clips of the things he was claiming. He was looking with his friends. They were filming the mountain and something very big and tall. I guess it might have been in the Rockies. I'm not sure, but he's in Canada apparently. Something close to the Washington border, I believe. And it looks like a giant. And he's thinking like, what the heck? And they don't believe him at first. He captures it on video. Then what happens is he goes back the next day, can't let it go, and he wants to drive up there. And as he's driving up there, all of a sudden it looks like there's a big tent over where the giant was. There's a bunch of military light type planes. He gets stopped. He's not allowed to go up there, and he keeps trying to go back. And he films this. Like, I've watched the whole story, like, because there's been clips. I don't know if it was TikTok or where, but he was threatened. And it sounded like kind of like Men in Black kind of thing, right? From the government. It wasn't our government. We don't have Men in Black. So what happened was he went and did a video saying he renounced what he had seen, but you could tell he was really scared because he kept like looking over to the side and pretending. And then afterwards, there's another video. He goes, "This may be the last time you see me." And the girlfriend is online saying he's no longer alive. Now that can be a big hoax. We know this, but he did see something apparently.
Yeah, there's something. Well, no, I believe there could be. Zachman wrote, could be a reclusive human, not necessarily anything paranormal. If the figure is human, I would say they are the one person with the least amount of problems. Amen. That's absolutely.
Zach, when you see this, I strongly urge you, or if you want, I will send you a link if you're on TikTok. You may be able to find it on YouTube. This is big. Like, I know it's very hard to see. That's the only crappy thing about screen sharing, unless you have like a big picture in your browser or something. But I am telling you, it's pretty big looking. It's not small. Not at all. Like
I want to say this for people watching right now and people listening. This, I know, this world has more things in it that we do not know about. So and we do, like the oceans do, and outside land does too. I mean, we have untouched forests that nobody's been in. So the probability of there being things outside of the human race is extremely high. So I think like what we all talked about before, we have to take stuff with a grain of salt, but do some investigating, do some fun. This is a Dave conspiracy, Lorilei. And this is a Dave conspiracy, and I'm using the word conspiracy. Now,
it's that word.
So sometimes I've come to believe that the reason we're seeing so many scary things and so many weird things and so many aliens and so many of that is because we are getting closer to the time where other civilizations are going to start making themselves known. This could very well be a way to test us to see how we react to things that are not like us. Because it's almost like throwing, let's see what humans think about this weird thing. Like, are they fair? Is it scary to them? Is it what? Because, other people from other planets might not look like us. And some of them do not. But sometimes if people are frightened by appearances, I mean, look at now. We judge people by their appearance. We see somebody walking down the road in raggedy clothes and they're a different color than us. The next thing we are going to say is, watch your purse. They might try to steal it. We don't know that. We're just going particularly off looks. So I wonder if sometimes we're being set up to see how far we've come along as far as judging something by the way it looks. Does that make sense?
Well, I agree with you, but then you get into Project Bluebeam. You also have Project Blue Book. I mean, you have all these things, right? And then you go back to, I was talking about this on my show. I don't know if we've ever talked about this, but I have a friend by the name of Dan Willis. I used to have him all the time on the Angel Rock. He's used to work with Marcel Vogel. He knows all about Vogel crystals, the whole bit. Like, he's a really cool guy, but he does lives off grid, like not crazy prepper off grid. just being sustainability, creating your own food and whatever. He teaches people how to do small house living. Actually, Zach, I think I sent you some info on him a couple of years ago. Him and his wife did a presentation on small house living. This is before it kind of became on vogue, I remember. Anyways, he was also part of the US military. And this is back during Vietnam. And they really thought, I'm not a fan of Dr. Stephen Greer. Sorry, Dr. Stephen Greer. Appreciate what you've done, but just not a fan. Anyways, they thought disclosure was going to happen May 6, 2002. And what they had was just over 20 scientists and military personnel, right up to admirals, colonels, you name it, top brass in certain levels of military. They all came with what the kids these days call the receipts. They were sworn under oath. It was at the New York Press Club. And between all of them, they testified at that time to 57 different types of extraterrestrials they had encountered. And what they were asking for was to be able to take this to Congress and present it to Congress. And every major news organization was there. They thought disclosure was happening. This was it. And as Dan used to tell the story on the Angel Rock, was people on the newscast sort of showed up the last 15 seconds, giggling, going, some people think that extraterrestrials exist. So he'd always talked about this. I'd never seen it. And he put out a video this year for a conference. He actually took clips from the actual footage of people testifying under oath, and it's called Why the Secret Space Program Will Still Remain Secret. So at that time, that was what we knew. So imagine how many different types of extraterrestrials we could already have here.
Oh yeah, it's true. And I mean, a lot of things we see, if all we know, they just come from someplace else. Mm-hmm. They might not be Nephilim and giants. Maybe on their place, they're just short. Maybe when they come here, they're just giant. Who knows?
Well, my theory is if something has existed, here's a conspiracy theory for you, and I've talked about this before. If something has existed through the annals of time, meaning that, from the time they used to sit around the fireplace after hunting and cleaning and, cooking the deer and whatever they captured for food, right down to, say, the generation before us, if you will, even to this day, people would sit around, especially when there was no TV, right, and cell phones and things like that, and they would tell stories. Now, if something didn't exist or it had no relevance or nobody knew anything about it, I am quite sure it would fade into the existence. So to me, there's always got to be some level of truth. The reason why these things still exist, we're still hearing about them.
I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. That is true. We said that last time too, I think, is because this stuff is getting passed down. Unfortunately, as with religion and the Bible and everything else, everybody's playing a game of telephone. So
we've talked about that before too. Yeah.
And what we're saying about that is somebody might see something in the woods that was slightly scary. When I said, "Oh, it startled me. I saw this big thing in the woods," and then tell somebody that the next day, "Hey, I saw something in the woods," and he says, "Oh, I'm going to repeat that story to somebody else," but he adds to it maybe and says, "Oh yeah, I had this friend who saw something in this wood that had huge teeth and giant eyes," because he couldn't remember if the guy said anything, and then that story goes on. Next thing you know, the monster attacked the first guy and all this other stuff. But in the end all be all, like Lorilei said, there had to have been something in order for us to start telling a story about it. Mm-hmm. So everything, and I will say my guides and those guys on the other side and all the stuff I've been through have said the same thing. When I always ask, is this real? They said, well, parts of it have to be real or you would not have been able to think about it. And it's true. So a lot of this stuff has got something behind it. It's just, I'm always waiting for those people to do that really strong investigating. You know what I'm saying, Lorilei?
Well, it's hard though with the internet, especially because you get conflicting stories. Like I just told you of a few things doing some research. The guy that saw the giant and caught it on video on the mountain, it sounds like closer to Washington in British Columbia. And then there's all these rumors going around, and we don't know if they're true or they're not. As many as you hear or you see that seem to verify the truth, there's just as many that say, no, it's been debunked. So it's so hard to tell what's true and what is not true. But the other thing, this is what got us on this road, you guys. We were talking about what are some of the strange things that we are seeing with increased frequency around the world in the last year or two. Now, one of the things that really came up for me, besides, it wasn't just giants, UFOs. UFOs are huge, and alien encounters. Last one, my friend in Mexico sent me a small episode from TV. It was UFO something, something, something. It landed in 2007, and it was just in a little village. It collided with a little 2-seater plane. Apparently, it was quite the story. Anyways, the other thing, though, that I am seeing, besides supposedly UFOs or all these strange lights, are strange noises. Have you seen that too, Dave? Like around the world, people are reporting, and they're recording it too.
Is this like the trumpets in the sky that happened years and years ago?
We've never called it that. It's just weird, strange noises, and they're not always the same, but people are reporting like, what the heck is this?
I did see one, which it's on, and it's on YouTube. I'm sorry, we're not saying that YouTube is the go-to place for investigating, but it'll prompt you to do your own investigating.
Mm-hmm.
I did watch a video on YouTube where a guy was going through the woods, and literally, and this was a dude, a VA dude. He was in the woods doing something with his friends, and he literally started taping. It was the weirdest.
Yeah.
In the middle of the woods, there's it sounded very industrial, kind of, and they're in the middle of the woods. There's nothing in the woods to be industrial. So it's strange. I mean, even if you guys know the lore of the Banshee.
Oh yeah.
Banshee shows up, it usually means someone's going to die, and they call the Banshee scream. Well, somebody had said a long time ago, a spiritual person, quite famous, who had said that they believed that the scream of the Banshee was literally something breaking through the veil or the dimension. And that's what that sound was, because actually, if we do bust through, and I think it's scientific too. If we bust through some kind of reality, it makes a sound.
I'm going to look for this. I found the one video. Hopefully there's no weird strange noise. Wait, I didn't spell strange right. Sorry, guys. I've got TikTok uploaded here. The only reason I went to TikTok is because it's a quick and easy place. And I know there's lots of rumors about that as well. But you know what? It's a really easy, quick place to upload videos. And people are using it. I'll say, sorry, around the world as I'm talking. Around the world 2025. Let me see. Oh, sorry. I can't even spell, guys. I'm sorry as I'm typing here. Okay, there we go. Strange noises around the world. I think this is one of the videos. Let me play it and see. Yeah.
That is weird. Oh, look, there's birds flying over.
This is in Australia, so I'll play it. Do you guys want me to play it for you on the screen?
Yeah.
Because you don't really need to see anything. It's just to be able to hear it, and you can hear them talking. So give me a sec. So have you heard this too, Dave, with you being on TikTok? Have you seen that?
Not that one in particular. To be all honest, I scroll through. I don't give much time to TikTok unless I'm making a video. But I do scroll through them, and I saw some really incredible things. And then I go from that TikTok and I look up where it came from, and then I go watch it there.
Okay, let me play it as soon as it uploads. It's not on the screen yet. Sorry, my computer's getting slow here.
It's okay.
Come on up here. You can come up. It should be on the screen here, and it's not. I can see it's not. Let me see if it'll. Come on. Don't lock up. I'll close these other ones.
Neil, Zach, Howie, any of you guys heard strange stuff or heard strange sounds in the air? I can't say I have, but I don't live in a very quiet place.
I haven't heard them here, but let's see if we can. Okay, let me add it to the stream. Okay, it's on the stream. I don't know if I might have to play it twice for you guys because I don't know. It doesn't want to show. Oh, that's okay. Here, that's why. Oh, sorry about the language, guys. We'll have to be careful about that. Oh, it lost. Oh, there it is. It said it lost connection.
Oh yeah, because it's not playing the sound.
It's not playing the sound?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, that's what you guys need.
Yeah.
Let me try it again.
I will say this. I had a chance to watch all the people, and being somebody who knows a lot about people just from doing readings and watching people, observing people, they don't look like they're acting about anything.
No, but this, it's playing it. I'm sorry. I'll have to start it again. Oh, my computer's being slow. Here. It doesn't want to add it. Can you hear it?
What the fuck is
Sorry about the
that?
language, if you can hear that. It's not showing it, eh? I think my computer's had enough of this.
We all heard it and saw it.
It's weird. Oh, look, there's birds flying over.
Do you know what that reminds me of, that sound?
Yeah. You can hear that, right?
Yeah, what is it?
I've got no idea.
He's going to swear here, guys. Sorry.
It is strange.
I'm not supposed to say that word on here, but I couldn't blur it.
We're up at Bonnie Doon.
I couldn't hear it. I didn't hear him swear. So.
Oh, he did. Good if you guys didn't. That means they didn't.
Can't say anything, but I can certainly hear that.
I'll stop it.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Okay, now that's not the only place that noise has been recorded. I have seen videos from all around the world. People recording that noise. I know what you're talking about, the trumpet sound. That was a big thing a few years ago. That is not trumpets. I don't know what that is. I've seen one from Russia. I've seen one from like in the UK. I think in South America. I don't believe I've seen any from North America, but I have seen it from all around the world, that noise and videos.
Lorilei, what do you think? Just for fun, let's play with this.
Mm-hmm.
Just to come up with some sort of explanation, and then people can go from there. So Lorilei and I both know about there's how we go through dimensions. We're constantly going through dimensions in our everyday life. You wonder if that's a dimension next to us, and there could be something in that dimension that's making that sound. We can't perceive it. We only perceive the sound.
I don't know.
I wonder if we're switching, if we're switching over for that. I don't know.
What? When you said that, you know what I got? I told Dave my gifts lately over the last 6 months or so. When I start hearing something being talked about, I get like a movie, and it's not always right, but I got a vision of what that thing was that was coming in Stranger Things before it was kind of revealed. No, go lay down, puppy. That's what I got, like in the next dimension from the upside down, like wanting to come over, and we're just hearing it.
It would be, because have you ever seen The Mist?
Oh, that is terrifying.
It's a very good movie, and it's far-fetched, but basically what this doesn't explain to people, but what it's about is basically the military found out a way to go open up a portal to another dimension. In this dimension, it happens to have all these different kind of what we would call monsters, but very large insects on another scale. So they came through that dimension into ours and wreaked havoc and made terrible noises too.
But they came with a mist, like you couldn't see what was there.
You could, well, no, you could. You see the little spider things that came through them?
Yeah, but you didn't see the things that were eating people right away.
No, we didn't see them eating people. We didn't see that.
Yeah,
but,
and then it was so sad at the end. We won't give the ending away, but it was like, just think of the song by Alanis Morissette. Isn't that ironic? It was kind of like that.
The end of the movie is probably the best end I have ever saw in my life.
I cried.
Yeah, it was a sad ending, but it's a sad ending, but it's a good switch, you know.
It is you never expect it's going to end that way. We're not going to ruin it for you if you haven't seen it, but yeah, you never expect it's going to end that way. Ever. Oh, Zach goes, yeah, that was a scary movie. And Leah said, I remember the trumpet sound. That was creepy. It was.
Do you know what's really funny? I'm going to tell you, Now, in near-death experiences, it's the same thing we're talking about. All the people who've had a near-death experience, Lorilei's, mine, anybody else's, they're all different, but
they're not the same. Yeah, they're not the same.
Common. But they all have things in common. But as far as like the sounds goes, I have a slight remembrance when I was in the void, or what I called it, which is just the dark sky that I was watching the light from and everything. There was a sound that was going on, and it was very beautiful and it was very musical, but there wasn't like a melody to it. It's not a melody. Like, you can't sing the song. It's just happening. And I believe that's why I like that trumpet sound. When people talked about the trumpets, it's not literally a trumpet, because I know in the Bible it talks about the trumpets blowing in the sky and all that other crap. But the sound from the heavens or from my NDE didn't sound like trumpets, but it also sounded odd. There was no melody. So I think some of the sounds that we hear in these skies, I have to stick with it, that it's coming through another dimension.
So I just heard bleed through from spirit, bleed through.
Yeah, that's the bleed through.
Energetic bleed through. Yeah, because people aren't seeing anything.
They're just hearing it.
So Leah Passmore says it's definitely a lesson on how things aren't always as bad as you think. And that's
very true, Leah. You got to remember that. Some things are, most of the time when we're afraid of something, fear is caused by the unknown. If it's unknown, we tend to fear it. Like if I see a strange dog outside in my front yard, all of a sudden, I will probably fear that dog if it's just standing there. But which might be silly, because that dog can be completely friendly and shy, So we do have to keep our minds open, and we do have to remember not all things are made to be feared. Some things I really find uneasy. Shadow people still freak me out, even though I know that they're not.
Oh, okay. So my friend,
I get them in my house all the time.
Okay, so shadow people, we had a hat man, shadow man at our house of the four main entities, our previous home. My friend Heidi Hollis, her muggle job, as I call it, she's an occupational therapist. I've talked about her before, I think on the Angel Rock. She's been on the Angel Rock. She is the person that trademarked and made sure the name, because she was the one that came up with the name Hat Man, Shadow Man, or Shadow Guy. So she does comic books about Bigfoot, and she does like little comics for kids to be able to help them when they're scared, when they're able to see things at night. Like, she's super, super cool. And she also has a chat and a Facebook group about shadow men and shadow people. And she's got an interesting perspective on it, because you know how you had mentioned before, I'm positive it was you, that you've met Jesus and you've had some conversations and stuff. Well, she hangs with Jesus. Jesus is her homeboy, basically. Not all the time. And so people think she's gotten really religious, and she's not. But in her mind, she believes the Shadow Man and Hat Man is something very evil, and she refers to it as demonic. For me, I don't think the Shadow Man, Hat Man is a good dude. But what I also want to add is, and I do not agree with this, that everything we see in shadow is evil, because I know there have been spirits that have come through as a shadow that I have not necessarily seen from the evidence that they're anything really negative. What's your thoughts?
No, that's absolutely true. No, that's true. I think not all shadow things are negative. Yeah. But I mean, I've run across some that didn't feel very good. I personally don't, like I told you, I personally wouldn't call it demonic, but some of them, I did not care for the feeling that
I will agree, but they're not something, the most evil of evil of evil. They're not something you want to invite home and say, hey, dude, come meet me in my dreams, but they're not.
Yeah, no, even, I mean, like, I used to tell the one thing I seen when I go into the woods, I'm the guy that I used to always tell people, I keep seeing shadows in the woods. I see shadows, and to this day, it can be broad daylight out. I'll be walking through the mountains up in my house. I will see the shadows go through the woods. And they're like, not like a shadow from a tree. But somebody
No.
had told me one time to make me feel better because I saw him so much. They said, when you see a shadow in the wood, it's just God watching you. And I thought that was the prettiest thing. So that's usually what I always think of it. Hi, Kitty.
No, she was my co-host Monday night, and she's back. Everybody met her. Hey, so now you're back again.
Now she's a media hoe.
That's are you a media hoe? She loves my crystal. So she stayed and visited. Everybody got to meet her. She had to stay and hang around we were talking about black-eyed kids, eh? You had to stay around and hang around and talk about it, didn't you?
I'm waiting for somebody one day to describe black-eyed kids with me and not be able to say it. So they say, did you see the black-eyed peas?
That's what kept coming up when I was doing research. It kept coming up, black-eyed peas. It's like, no, I don't want the peas. I need the kids. No, you can't.
You just see little kids with black eyes at your front door. I got a feeling that tonight. Yeah. I love black-eyed kids in the chorus in the background.
Yeah. Well, I did say,
let's spin it up.
I did say I don't ever want to meet one. I have no desire.
There's a lot of things that I don't want to meet. What's funny, if you go back to that just for a minute, where I was talking about Dark Elf. Now, God, I don't want to say it like this because I don't want anybody to take it wrong.
I thought it was cool that Michelle even thought of that, and I couldn't understand what she was talking about. And she sent it while I was live, and I go, honey, I got your message, but I can't watch it. And so she typed in the chat, no, I sent this because this is what I did. So I posted it with her permission in the chat on the Angel Rock so people could listen to it. Sorry, I stopped your train of thought there.
No, you didn't. You're fine. What was that? I did forget where
Black-eyed kids, what you were thinking about.
I can't remember. I'll get back to it again.
Oh, with the dark elf and going back.
Elf. That's what I wanted to go at. Now, I don't want to. I'm going to talk about Dark Elf for a minute. There's not like a phrase for it.
I don't know who you are, but hi.
There are elementals that are probably not the friendliest people. I agree. You could say. That's where I got when I heard Dark Elf, but they were describing, like, I wonder if, like, what if the black-eyed children are actually elementals taking on a human form for that moment? And then they disappear. I don't know. That's just Davy conspiracy. I'm good with that.
I don't know because I can't get past. Okay, you know what? We see that you're a Facebook user. We love that you're here. Welcome. We got it streaming across the bottom. If you wouldn't mind just heading to streamyard.com/Facebook, you just got to say yes to them using your picture and name. Then we'll know who you are. But welcome.
I'm waving at you, but I don't know who you are. There we go.
So Leah says elves are creepy as hell to me. And also, what are the Fae and why do they have a bad rap? I love
the Fae. Yeah.
Apparently, in a previous life, and I have had this proven to me by various different people that have all come together to support this story. Dave, I've told you it before. But I was told that there's Lady Titania, I think it's from Macbeth or something. I never really cared for Shakespeare. Apparently, she had a sister that would be considered the dark half, okay? But she wasn't necessarily evil, but she wasn't taking any crap from anybody, okay? If you did her dirty, she's going to do you dirty so bad you're going to wish you were born kind of thing. And her name was Maven. And the person that told me about this, they said, I knew you. And I go, of course you knew me. We're talking right now. No, I knew you. Now, they claim to be angelic. And I had somebody else on my show that had an NDE. These two were finishing each other's sentences. This was not on this network. It was my previous network, okay? He described me, and he said, I forget what he told me his name was. I'll have to go through some of my notes. Anyways, he goes, I used to call you Maeve all the time. And he said you had long, black, super silky, shiny hair, like almost down to your ankles. You had very hazily silver eyes with a little bit of violet. And he said you wore a crown of black thorns, okay? When he said I used to call you Maeve, I instantly knew it was Maven. Then we fast forward to my crystal Reiki, like my course I was going through, or they basically have to, my brain is not working, what they do to certify you in Reiki. Dave, do you remember what it's called?
To do what?
Certify you in Reiki. Your master certifies you.
Oh, I forgot what it's
I
called.
forget what the name of it is, but anyways, it's something you have to go through. And because it was distance wise, we had to do a meditation. And I remember my Reiki master saying to me, and you have to be there in the meditation same time as me because I will know. Well, mine was a Friday night and I fell asleep. I hardly ever do that. I woke up a half hour later after it was done and I messaged her. I go, oh my God, I'm so sorry I fell asleep. And she said to me, don't worry about it. When you have the time and when you're ready to do it will be the right time. It happened to be 5 days later. I still have the recording. I can prove this. Okay. So as I'm going to do my Reiki, it's not certification. I forget what it's called. But anyways,
Attunement.
Pardon?
Attunement.
Thank you. Attunement. That's what it is. Attunement. Dog, please stop. So I'm sitting there and I go, okay, I should do this meditation. So this was done on a Friday. Fast forward, we're on Tuesday night. I'm going, what should I sit on? I just bought this white fluffy unicorn blanket. I'm going to sit on that. And it was really hot. So I had my hair all tied up at the back of my neck like this. I now wear it like that a lot, but I never used to. I'm listening to the attunement. And what does she say to me, my Reiki master? She goes, oh, okay, I see you there. Now, this is 5 days ahead of time. I have not listened to the recording. Dog, stop now, please, sit. Sorry, I have to attend to my dog. Sit. You're not a lap dog. She thinks she is. Anyway, she goes, I see you. She goes, you're sitting on something like it's like really like it's white and fluffy. As I'm listening, I'm going, oh my God. Then she goes, and yeah, your hair is kind of like tied up around the nape of your neck. She goes, I don't think I've ever seen you with wearing that way. So I'm kind of freaked out, right? I'm listening to the attunement. There's only 15 symbols for Crystal Reiki. As she gets to the 7-pointed star, her voice says, oh my gosh, I don't know what it is with your higher self with the 7-pointed star, but you took that 7-pointed star and you slapped it on your third eye. And she goes, oh my gosh, now I see you. And she describes me with the long, black, silky hair, color of the eyes, and I'm wearing a black crown of thorns, twists, and whatever, okay? At the end of it, she goes, I don't know why. She goes, I didn't even know I had this statue. And she goes, but I'm going to send you a picture of it. Immediately, Spirit told me I needed to send it to you. It was a fairy. Now, none of these people that told me all this stuff connected. Last thing with it, after I knew what my name apparently was in this past life, that it was Maven, I do draw. I don't do it very often. I decided I was going to sit down and draw at 3 o'clock in the morning. I ended up drawing like a unicorn, but a Pegasus mixed together. I knew the name. I knew it wasn't a pet. We knew each other. She wasn't a familiar. We were equals, sharing energy. Her name was Chloe. This is the weirdest thing. I could not make this up. And how other people that don't know each other could all interconnect with this story. Sounds crazy, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
She was elemental queen of the fairies, so that's the whole story about this.
You're talking to crazy right now. So I don't.
We're not talking to crazy. We're in the crazy room right now.
You guys, you're all enjoy the crazy because you know what? I think paranormal is the new normal.
Well, people were asking about the fae. Like Neil said, Irish fae are scary. They can be, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have to give myself a shameless plug, but if you go to my other podcast, Mystic Stew, which is pre-recorded, I have a whole thing on fairies and elves that I do, and I talk about the rods, the different directions, the elementals, and all that. There's like so much to know that I can't part it out here, but the fae. I haven't ran into any scary. I'm going to call them scary, not evil. The less than nice. I haven't ran into too many less than nice ones, but I'm sure they exist. And for people who want to know why fairies are so, they are also that's another thing you can reincarnate as. Everybody thinks you always are coming to be a human all the time. Some do. They stick with human all the time, but you literally can go to hundreds of thousands of who knows how many dimensions to go to. And fae are another dimension. And their dimension is it's with Mother Nature here on this earth. I think this is where fae originate from, is the earth. I don't think I
consider them earth angels, guardians of the earth. And while you were talking, I kept hearing from spirit, they're the great equalizer. And what I was getting from it was meaning you treat them with respect and you treat the earth and animals with respect, including children. You will, and you don't have to make offerings. They don't say we're gods, but treating them with respect. What I've received is they love little shiny things. And I put up a fairy garden with beautiful pieces and all kinds of stuff. The whole neighborhood stops every summer to talk about it. People that don't know us, but that's my homage to them, if you will.
And this is you guys, and I'm going to tell you Dave's little bit of crazy that I do, and I love it though. I don't care. I've got two. My friend Carrie gave me two fairies, little porcelain fairies, and they are on my windowsill in my kitchen. And one is holding out a seashell, and the other one is just holding her hand out like that. I don't know what compelled me, but I was hearing noises in my house, and I got directed towards the fairy, and I'm like, I wonder if that was their way of saying they're around or whatever.
Oh, absolutely. Mm-hmm.
I drop her, and I put a little, as an offering, I put a little bit of water into the shell of one of them, and then I took some pretty hemp string that I had, and I put that around the arm of the other one, and it stayed up there for weeks. And guess what? I didn't hear any more shenanigans in my house while it was up.
Well, even Dell, my partner Dell,
Mm-hmm.
who I never thought in a million years I would discuss fairies with, but he's learned about the little people, which is a big part of Indigenous culture. They are considered evil. Some of them, we've heard some stories that they're okay, kind of the stories with the Fae, right? So Pamela Clisby, welcome. By the way, I highlighted while we were talking, and she says she loves mystics too, Dave.
Yeah, thank you, Pamela.
So I will show you. I haven't done this year's yet. I've got some new pieces. Okay, Dave and I have crazy senses of humor, as you know. I didn't even tell Dave this. So I picked up a new solar lighted piece, and it looks like a fairy cottage in the shape of a boot. And it's got a gnome. I have a problem with gnomes. Like, I adore gnomes. Like, everything in my house for every season has gnomes. Okay,
they're all over my kitchen. They're all over my kitchen. I got stuff.
I know, Dave and I bonded over that too. I love them. You're gonna love this new piece. I guys will show you it. I didn't realize it at first. So there's little windows in the shoe, and there's a gnome popping out the top and a gnome popping out of the window, and there's one right at the toe of the boot. He's mooning everybody through the window. I did not realize that when I bought him. So I'll make sure I put a picture of him in there.
I have heard that gnomes and fae and all that are actually considered like the spirit guides of animals and plants.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Guardians of the Earth. So Neil, I think, is over in the UK, if I remember you correctly, Neil. He said, legend is families would have techniques to deter Irish fairies. There's pukas, there's brownies. And before I finish your comment, it keeps coming to mind, and I've been trying to get her back on Varla Ventura. She's an amazing guest. I've had her on quite a few times. Author. She's written on werewolves, vampires, the strange and unusual, the paranormal, and she's done mermaids as well as fairies. And she specifically centers a lot of her research and knowledge around the UK, Neil. So I'm going to finish her story here. We would have techniques to deter Irish fairies. However, farmers could barter cakes for them, and they would do menial tasks on your farms. And that's exactly what she said too. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, remember the story of the elf and the shoemaker?
Yes, I do. Mm-hmm.
So the shoemaker, the elves come in to do the shoemaker for all that, and he leaves them little things, and they do it all the time. That I found, if you are a very nature orientated person, you have a garden back, if you can leave an offering and ask for help with your garden.
Yeah.
And if your garden starts doing well, I will say this, because it seems to me the only difference between Faye and us is they kind of almost demand a thank you.
Yes.
You are supposed to say thank you. I have offered thimbles of wine. Whether they drink them or not, or whether you think I'm crazy.
I get them crystals and candy. A lot of candies.
Yeah, you can do. Yeah, anything you can do that. And like Neil said, there's. I'm German and Irish, Neil.
Sorry, Neil. I apologize. I said I'm of Irish heritage. I'm over in Portland, Oregon, from San Rafael, California. I do want to read a few comments because Nicole Thomas Ryan said, I just became interested in gnomes.
Gnomes are gnomes. There's a reason why you see garden gnomes. Gnomes have everything to do with the earth and growing things and all that fun stuff.
Okay, so Varla, I always end up sending her strange things when she comes on that she has not seen, including stuff with fairies. There's a couple videos. Most of them I would say are fake, but I have seen one over in the UK, which I believe is totally true. There's one more. There's a guy that fakes them, and it really
they're really good too. The ones that go in the woods and they're running around.
Well, no, he's got the beard and all this stuff. And there's a guy on YouTube, I think he was from Finland, and he was very sweet. He debunks people that put stuff like this on social media and video. And he was so sweet and he was really kind about it. But this guy was actually a 3D animator. So if you've seen them, he's probably put those videos out about fairies. But I forget where I was going with this. I was talking about fairies and videos. Oh, with gnomes. Okay, let me finish. Yeah, I made a gnome. I have one I made for Dell that looks like a ZZ Top.
I made this guy too.
Oh, he's so cute. Well, I made it. He's got long hair. He's wearing a slash top hat. He's got glasses with skulls in them, and he's wearing I made him a little black, looks like leather with tails, sort of jacket. Dell calls him you. I never understood why you, but he calls him hey you. So that's who he looks like, somebody from ZZ Top. Anyways, back to this story. It was talking about the gnomes. Oh, I know what it is. She had never seen this. You guys, look it up on YouTube. Some of them are fake, but there's one video that is such potato quality. Some people have used some anti-shaking stuff. He's watching this gnome in a garden, and it stands up. It's dark at night. It stands up and it looks around and it frickin' walks. And it was there, I will say, long before Photoshop got really good. There's quite a few videos out there of these things, and it will freak the heck out of you.
Oh, there's let's say answers, because I heard that. From what I understood, hey sweetie, from what I understood, you aren't supposed to thank a fae to their face, as it's considered rude and makes you beholden to them. That's the same lore I've heard as well.
That's why you leave something out. It's not an offering, but it's a thank you.
It's a thank you. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I wouldn't say thank you to their face either. I have heard that one too.
If you want to see a fairy, the way I've explained it, you may not necessarily see them, but you'll feel them. You can see them at particular times at night, I think, especially. It depends if the sunlight's a certain way. Sometimes you might see a glint of a color or something. Don't force it. If you think you saw something, or you think you may have, or you're not really sure, you probably haven't. It's, it just kind of flows. But just trust that they're there. Send that love, like they're going to be around your garden, your flowers, trees, if you plant, food, you got animals, anything. Set the intention. You can say it out loud, or you can think it, that you want to meet them, or you want to be aware of their presence would probably be better. Leave them something shiny, like a crystal or something sweet. Or Dave, go ahead. I can hear you got lots that you're going to add to.
No, go right ahead.
I'm hearing it up here.
Yeah, I forgot what I was going to say. Which really,
your guys thimbles of wine, you said, right?
Yeah, I gave. You can give thimbles of wine. I've done that before. I know with. Oh, this is what I was going to tell you. From what I understand of my research, physical research as a human being, and as my research spiritually with all of them, they are literally, they're incarnate. They're living a incarnated life like we are, but they are fifth dimensional beings, which means as fifth dimension, if you're a fifth dimensional being, that's why when people go, we're in the fifth dimension. No, we're not. If you're in the fifth dimension, we can't see you. The five-dimensional beings who go into that dimension can also visit the four-dimensional. So that's how they get to our Earth. That's how we started seeing them again, because our Earth has always had a bit of four dimension to it. There's always been people who are able to see the fourth dimension. But they are fifth dimensional beings, and I think that's for people ask, why can't I see them? That's
Check on YouTube. There's a video in the UK of children showing their father the back of their new house in the garden, and what he captures, he was not trying to capture. Stop, please. Of course, the zoo at my house. We are almost out of time, guys. So, Dave, you want to tell them where to find you? We're having too much fun here tonight.
You guys, if you'd like a reading from me, you can, or to know more about me, you can only get one or obtain that by going to my website, thewhispertome.com. My other podcast is called Mystic Stew, short form, pre-recorded. You can find me on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook groups, everywhere under at Medium David Hanzel. And
David does not write to people soliciting readings.
Yes, that's been happening a lot. People are saying they're me. I don't ever do that. So
nor do I. So if you ever want to get a hold of me, you can get a hold of me on facebook.com/The Angel Rock. You want to book a reading, you got a guest or show idea. Also, I do healing sessions. I do mentoring and teaching and things like that. All the same thing. What's that, Dave?
Akashic, tell them.
Oh, yeah. Well, Akashic Records. Well, what I do know is I pull everything in together. So whatever you need, whether it's Akashic Records, it's Crystal Reiki, it might be therapeutic touch, which is a misnomer. You don't touch you in any way. It's energy, and you can be done over the internet, believe it or not. So whatever that may be. I also have 2 groups on Facebook. Paranormal University for all things paranormal, and the Angel Rocker Tribe for many of the spiritual things that we sometimes talk about. I will be back next Monday. Happy Memorial Day to everybody in the U.S. We just had Canada May long weekend or Victoria Day here in Canada. So I know it's next Monday, but I will be here with the Angel Rock on Monday night, 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Returning guest, you guys have loved her. Carmen Turner Shot. It took me a minute. I'm sorry, guys. She's an astrologist, but she's amazing. She's got a new book out. We're going to be talking about the moon, and Dave and I will be back next Thursday, right, Dave?
We sure will. And if, like I said, if you guys have something you would like us to open up the show with, you can write to me or Lorilei on Facebook. Me, you can write at david@thewhispertome.com, or you can throw it right in the comments, because we love to go all over the place. We do not mind.
We do not mind, and we like to talk about new and exciting different things, or the things you guys want to talk about, the questions of what have you. I don't want to forget to remind you, please stay tuned. We have an amazing show coming up next. We also have something for everybody on this network. So if you like what you see, please like, share, subscribe. But right next up, we have coming The Outer Realm with Michelle DeRoche and Amelia Pisano. They are on Wednesday and Thursday nights. You do not want to miss this show. They put on a great show. We love you guys. Thank you so much for everything you do. You guys make this show.
And you guys, real quickly before we go, if you're in the States, happy Memorial Day weekend.
As I said, yeah.
Be safe. And thank you to all those who have been of service to us. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Right.
And we love you guys. Don't worry. That's what I'm going to add before we go. So Silent Diva said, popped in too late, but it's great to see y'all. Please don't forget, if you guys have missed the show, don't worry about it. There's always a replay on Dave's YouTube, my YouTube, the network YouTube, Facebook, and then anywhere where podcasts or talk radio are carried. We're also on Roku. We're streaming to Roku tonight on the UFO Paranormal Radio Roku channel, but also so things like SoundCloud, Podbean, iTunes, iHeartRadio, anywhere, Spotify, Spreaker, you name it, we are there. So you can find us. So you can always hear any of the shows we've done. Okay. Are you ready, Dave? Are you ready?
1, 2, 3. What's at the foot of your bed?
Almost. We try every week to do it right on time one of these days. Okay, we'll see y'all next week, guys. Have a good one. Stay safe.
Bye-bye.